You finally get a break. No deadlines, no meetings, no plans. But instead of peace, you feel restless, guilty, even more stressed. Why can't you relax when you're supposed to? In this video, we'll uncover the hidden reason free time doesn't feel free anymore. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Free Time. You know that moment when you finally close your laptop, put your phone aside and tell yourself, now I can finally relax? But instead of sinking into peace, your mind starts buzzing. You think about the laundry you haven't done, the messages you haven't answered, or the work you'll face tomorrow. Suddenly, your so-called free time feels anything but free. This is the strange paradox of modern life. We have more opportunities for leisure than ever before, yet many of us feel incapable of enjoying it. Free time has become a space where guilt, anxiety, and unfinished tasks creep in. It's almost as if the moment we stop moving, our brains panic and try to drag us back into motion. Why does this happen? Part of the answer lies in the way we've been trained to think about time. From a young age, we're told that productivity is the ultimate measure of worth. If you're not doing something useful, you're wasting time. That belief doesn't just disappear when you sit down to rest. It lingers in the background, whispering that you should be doing more even when you've earned a break. The psychologist Carl Jung once said, "Hurry is not of the devil, it is the devil." That line captures the essence of our problem. We've become so accustomed to rushing, to filling every moment with tasks, that stillness feels unnatural. Free time isn't empty. It's haunted by the pressure to keep going. Think about the last time you had a free evening. Did you truly relax, or did you scroll through your phone, half watch a show and feel restless the whole time? That's not relaxation, that's distraction. And distraction is often our way of avoiding the discomfort of slowing down. Here's the tricky part. The more we avoid true rest, the harder it becomes to access. Our brains get used to constant stimulation, so when we finally stop, it feels like withdrawal. Silence feels loud. Stillness feels wrong. And so we reach for our phones, our to-do lists, or anything that keeps us moving. But here's something important to remember. You're not alone in this. Millions of people feel the same way. The inability to relax isn't a personal flaw. It's a cultural condition. We live in a world that glorifies busyness and treats rest as laziness. No wonder free time feels like a trap instead of a gift. If you've ever felt guilty for doing nothing, pause for a moment and realize how strange that is. Doing nothing should be the easiest thing in the world, yet it's become one of the hardest. That's because we've been conditioned to see rest as wasted potential, instead of recognizing it as fuel for everything else we do. And this is where I want to pause and invite you to subscribe to this channel. If these ideas resonate with you, if you've ever struggled with the pressure to always be on, then subscribing means you'll never miss the next conversation we have about the hidden forces shaping your everyday life. It's a small click, but it helps us build a space where slowing down is not only allowed but celebrated. Now let's go a little deeper. Free time feels like an illusion, because it's rarely free from mental clutter. Even when your calendar is empty, your mind is full. You carry the weight of unfinished tasks, the pressure of future goals, and the constant hum of comparison. You see others online who seem to be doing more, achieving more, living more, and suddenly your rest feels undeserved. This is why so many people say they feel more tired after a weekend than before it. The weekend becomes a race to catch up on chores, social obligations, and self-improvement projects. Instead of resting, we're just working in different clothes. And when Monday arrives, we wonder why we feel drained. The illusion of free time is powerful because it convinces us that rest is available, when in reality, it's been stolen by invisible pressures. We think we're choosing not to relax, but often we've been wired not to know how. And that's where the story deepens. Because if free time feels like a trap, what's really going on beneath the surface? Why does our brain resist the very thing it needs most? Chapter 2. The Hidden Forces Behind Restlessness. We've seen how free time often feels like an illusion, a space that looks open on the calendar but feels crowded in the mind. The question now is, what exactly is filling that space? Why does your brain resist the very thing it craves most? Rest. The answer lies in the hidden forces that shape your daily life, often without you realizing it. One of the strongest forces is psychological. Our minds are wired to seek safety and certainty, and for many of us, activity feels safer than stillness. When you're busy, you feel in control even if it's exhausting. But when you stop, your thoughts catch up with you. Worries you've been pushing aside suddenly surface. That's why sitting quietly can feel more stressful than rushing through a packed schedule. Your brain isn't broken. It's simply trying to protect you by keeping you moving. Another psychological layer is guilt. We've been taught that time is valuable only when it's productive. So when you rest, a voice inside whispers, "You should be doing something." That guilt doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's been planted by years of conditioning. Think about school, where free time was often framed as a reward for hard work, or workplaces where breaks are seen as slacking. Over time, you internalize the idea that rest must be earned, and even then it's suspicious. But psychology is only part of the story. There are also powerful cultural forces at play. We live in a society that glorifies busyness. People wear exhaustion like a badge of honor, bragging about how little sleep they get or how many hours they work. Productivity isn't just encouraged, it's idolized. In that environment, choosing to rest feels like rebellion. No wonder it makes you uneasy. Social media amplifies this pressure. Every time you scroll, you see people achieving, traveling, creating, and sharing their highlights. Even if you know it's curated, it still plants the idea that you should be doing more. So when you sit down to relax, you feel like you're falling behind. Free time becomes a competition you can't win. Then there's the biological side. Your brain is constantly being trained by the tools you use every day. Notifications, endless feeds, and quick bursts of entertainment all create a cycle of stimulation. Each ping or scroll gives you a small hit of dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. Over time, your brain gets used to that constant stimulation. So when you try to rest and when there's no ping, no scroll, no quick hit, it feels uncomfortable. Stillness becomes boring, even painful. This is why so many people reach for their phones the moment they try to relax. It's not just habit. It's biology. Your brain craves the stimulation it's been trained to expect. And the more you give in, the harder it becomes to sit quietly without it. Restlessness isn't just in your head, no, it's in your wiring. All of these forces, psychological, cultural, biological, combine to create a powerful resistance to rest. It's like trying to swim against a current. You want to relax, but everything around you and inside you is pushing in the opposite direction. That's why free time feels so heavy. It's not empty space. It's filled with invisible weight. And yet, understanding these forces is the first step to loosening their grip. Once you see that your restlessness isn't a personal weakness but a predictable response to your environment, you can start to approach it differently. You can stop blaming yourself and start questioning the systems that make rest so difficult. This shift in perspective is crucial because it opens the door to something new. If free time feels like a trap, and if hidden forces are keeping you restless, then the next step is to redefine what relaxation actually means. Maybe it's not about doing nothing at all. Maybe it's about finding the kind of rest that truly recharges you, even if it looks different from what you imagined. And that's where we're heading next. Chapter 3: Redefining Relaxation. We've uncovered how hidden forces, psychological, cultural, and biological, quietly shape the way we experience free time. They explain why stillness feels uncomfortable and why rest often slips through our fingers. But knowing the problem is only half the story. The real shift begins when we start to redefine what relaxation actually means. For most of us, relaxation has been sold as the image of doing nothing, lying on the couch, staring at the ceiling, or maybe watching a show until we drift off. But here's the truth: doing nothing isn't always restful. In fact, for many people it feels unsettling. That's because relaxation isn't about the absence of activity. It's about the presence of restoration. Think about the times you felt truly recharged. Maybe it was during a walk in nature, when your mind finally slowed down. Maybe it was while cooking a meal, painting, or even cleaning. Activities that kept your hands busy but gave your thoughts space to breathe. These moments don't look like doing nothing, but they restore you in a way that endless scrolling or passive distraction never can. This is the first step in redefining relaxation. Stop measuring it by inactivity and start measuring it by how it makes you feel afterward. If you finish an activity and feel lighter, calmer, or more energized, that's relaxation. If you finish and feel drained, guilty, or restless, that's not rest. That's avoidance. Another important shift is to recognize that relaxation is deeply personal. What recharges one person might exhaust another. Some people find peace in silence, while others relax best with music or conversation. Some need solitude, while others feel restored by time with loved ones. The mistake is believing there's a single formula for rest. The key is to experiment and pay attention to what actually works for you. It also helps to create boundaries around your rest. Free time often gets hijacked by chores, notifications, or unfinished work. If you don't protect it, it disappears. That's why intentional rest is so powerful. It means choosing to set aside time for activities that restore you, and treating that time as non-negotiable. Just as you wouldn't cancel an important meeting, you don't cancel your rest. Of course, this isn't easy in a world that constantly demands your attention, but even small steps can make a difference. Turning off notifications for an hour, leaving your phone in another room while you read, saying no to one obligation so you can say yes to yourself. These choices may feel small, but they add up to a new relationship with free time. And here's something else to consider. Relaxation doesn't always mean comfort. Sometimes the most restorative activities are the ones that challenge you in gentle ways. Learning a new skill, exercising, or journaling can feel effortful in the moment, but they leave you with a sense of clarity and renewal that passive distractions rarely provide. Rest isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. When you start to see relaxation as restoration, you stop chasing the idea of perfect free time and start creating it for yourself. You stop waiting for the world to give you peace and begin carving out peace in your own way. That's the real reason redefining relaxation matters, because it puts the power back in your hands. So the next time you find yourself restless in your free time, pause and ask, what would actually restore me right now? Not what looks like rest, not what others say is relaxing, but what truly leaves me feeling renewed. That question alone can change the way you experience your downtime. And with that, we've come full circle. Free time doesn't have to feel like a trap. Rest doesn't have to feel impossible. By understanding the forces that keep you restless and by redefining what relaxation means, you can finally begin to experience the kind of rest that leaves you ready for life again.